Here's another unusual central vacuum, a Nautilus Whirlaway. I've come across a total of three Nautilus central vacs, Nautiluses, or would that be Nautili, in the wild. One of them was from the 1980s, and it was clearly built by Beam. It had the intake for the house piping as well as the utility valve situated on the bucket instead of on the canister, and it was connected to the house system with flexible tubing that you had to remove to take the bucket off. So it just said Nautilus right here. It did not say Nautilus Whirlaway, but it was clearly a Beam built unit. The other two looked like this, and this is clearly a vacuum-made Lindsay manufacturing unit. Judging by the bracket on the back and the latches, but of course the easiest way to tell it's a vacuum made is because it says vacuum made right on the control module here. This is kind of an interesting design because by 1970, when this unit was new, the motor and the electrical controls on a unit like this would have typically all been enclosed. It was just a canister looking more like this one. There's the control panel on the side. But on this unit, it was globbed on and looked very cobbled together. This does have a utility inlet, so it has a manual switch. Another thing that Vacuum-Aid did not usually do. And furthermore, looking inside the unit, obviously if this were wall mounted, you would just take the bucket off, but in this case it's sitting on the floor, so I'm going to have to flip it upside down. So you have a cloth filter, very much like a Beam, and this was not Vacuum-Aid's design philosophy. So I'm assuming that what happened was Nautilus went to Lindsay Vacuum-Aid and said, can you make us a central vacuum? We like it with a cloth filter and a utility valve. And Vacuum-Aid had to source a cloth filter. And I believe what this is the cloth bag from a canister vacuum, like a GE swivel top or a Royal or a Eureka, one of those that had an open cloth bag with a gasket that you would put a paper liner into. And this is a little smaller than the diameter of the can, so they have this plate welded in that this will fit into. And the other thing that I'll point out, now that that cloth filter's out of there, is the Achilles heel of this design is how much restriction this filter provides to the airflow, and also how much dirt can leak past or around or through the bag, the filter, and get caught by the motor's secondary filter. That little guard screen with that little tablespoonful of dust that's on it choked off the majority of the airflow of this system. And nobody really knows to take this out and look for that. All they know is that central vac's not working right anymore. The heck with it. So not a great design in my opinion. Or at least not a great execution of a design. I mean, you can design a cloth filtered machine that works fine, that doesn't have that problem, but in this case, also having a hard time getting this there it goes. Imagine doing this from underneath the unit with it mounted on the wall. So as I mentioned, in the 80s, a Nautilus Central Vac was a private labeled Beam. Around 1970, it was a product of Lindsay Manufacturing Vacuum-Aid. But in fact, the earliest reference I could find to Nautilus Whirlaway central vacuums from 1965 shows another private labeled Beam. And this article from Workbench magazine shows how it's installed, how it's used, how the canister looks. And from then to 1968, let's say, the next publication that I was able to find, they switched from having Beam build their units to having Vacuum-Aid Lindsay build their machines. And this ad is offering a special deal if you purchase 24 Nautilus Whirlaway N2000 LSP built-in vacs. And this is from House and Home, which to me would be kind of a consumer publication, but obviously consumers are not buying 24 of these. This would be a builder. And they're also talking about the range hoods and the exhaust fans. Is that a Nautilus toasters? Okay. Nautilus range hoods, Nautilus toasters. So this was a home products company like Broan or Newtone or Fasco. And in fact, Nautilus was absorbed by Broan at one point. And anyway, so the good news is the way we got this unit is the owner has moved into this house. He's remodeling it. He loves central vacs. He's had a central vac in every one of his houses. And when he saw that this house had a central vac, he had us upgrade it, put in new equipment. And the good news is because this was installed with standard 2-inch tubing and a standard type control circuit, standard wall inlets, it was very easy to upgrade this to a modern system. So that's the good news. This actually still works, in fact. Of course, the suction's pretty wimpy by today's standards, but it was better than the portables were at the time, and you could still, you know, suck the dust off your hard floors with it. But anyway, hopefully this helps you if you have one of these systems that you're trying to service or trying to modernize and upgrade, or if you just want to know more about these, drop a comment or reach out to us. And as always, thank you for watching and happy vacuuming.